Welcome to Pop Culture Roulette for all your pop culture needs. We're America's podcast.
Hey, first try.
I know after last week, I was editing back. I had forgot I had made that mistake, but I left one of them in. I didn't leave the amount of times that I messed up ahead of time out. But yeah, anyway, welcome everybody. I'm joined as always by down in the dumps because well we lost one game, but we're still in the playoffs. Justin,
We.
hey, I told
Yeah.
you I became a Packer fan. I finally sold out and
Or did you buy in?
I have not bought in yet. I don't. I'll have to wait till the next public stock option to buy in. But
Gotcha.
but I sold out and I joined the Packer Nation or whatever, the cheesehead. I don't have an official cheesehead, but I do have at least one Packer shirt, maybe two. But
I
I
have, I have
decided
I have a cheesehead and a certificate that says I'm an owner.
instead of calling myself a Packer supporter, I am now calling myself a Packer fan, which means my fan bases are West Coast for baseball, Middle America for football, East Coast for hockey.
All right.
So I've made sure I've covered the entire country for my fan bases. So also just because I don't want to forget him as basically one of the founders of the show, Jeremy.
Yo.
All right, I
As
figured
as the one who got all this started, pretty much.
yeah, as the one who's either to blame or to
Oh, go
congratulate for
on.
this.
Yeah.
I want to play a game. It's going to be a pretty simple game. It's a yes or no question. But
No.
we're going to go over. We're going to play. Are they British?
Oh boy.
Okay.
So I have a list of various different celebrities, and you have to tell me if they are British or not. So we're going to start with Charlie Hunnam, the star of Sons of Anarchy, several movies. I think he was in one of the Pacific Rim movies. Is Charlie Hunnam British?
I don't know who that is.
I mean, neither.
Okay, all right then.
I'm gonna say yeah, though. It
I'm gonna
sounds
say
British.
I thought yes.
Okay. Um, this would have been much more effective had either of you known who Charlie Hunnam is. As the star of Sons of Anarchy, he is the leader of a biker gang in California. When I first heard him talk in his not biker gang voice, I was like, holy shit, that guy's British.
All
All
right.
right.
All right.
We nailed that one because
Hell
we didn't
yeah.
know who he was.
Yeah, all right. Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland. Is
No, he's
he
not.
Yes.
British? Ah, this is an interesting debate. He was born in England, but his parents are Canadian. And he didn't spend very much time of his life in England. So is he technically British?
Yes.
No.
He was born in England, bitch.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Okay. All right.
Just gotta get you heated, Jeremy.
Here's a softball for you. Here's a softball. Tom Holland. Tom Holland, the new Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Um, but were you like me the first time you heard him talk in his not Spider-Man voice? Were you shocked?
Impressive.
No.
He's
All right.
impressive when he does Spider-Man voice, though. I would
Yes.
say.
I
Yeah.
I honestly thought he was from New York. I did not know he was
Yeah.
from England because I had never seen him in anything before he was Spider-Man. All right, let's go with Timothy Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet, is he British?
No.
He is American. He is from
Oh,
New
wow.
Jersey, New York. I thought for sure his little Timothy Chalametness was British, but he is
Oh,
not.
I didn't think he was.
Robert Pattinson, the sparkly vampire and wannabe Batman. Is he British?
Fuck, he is.
Yes.
Oh, how about that? You guys knew that. I was kind of shocked. All right.
I think we're doing pretty good on this.
So far, Peter Dinklage.
No.
He is from New Jersey,
I was gonna
he
say from the Carolinas.
even though he does a very good British accent in Game of Thrones. All right.
That's a British
Um,
accent.
oh, whatever it is. All right. How about Anna Taylor-Joy? This one I think I put more on the list for Jeremy. Anna Taylor-Joy. Is she British?
Probably not.
Yes.
She is not. She is from Miami.
Close. I don't know the difference.
Close.
Um, Andrew Lincoln. Andrew Lincoln, star of The Walking Dead.
Justin
Okay.
Yes.
seems
All right.
confident.
All right.
That one threw me when he first started, when I heard him talk. I was like, what?
Yeah. Because again, like one of the first things I'd ever seen him in was The Walking Dead. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
what? All right. Justin, I know you're a fan of the show Pushing Daisies. We've had this conversation before.
Hmm.
Are you aware of an actor by the name of Lee Pace from Pushing Daisies?
Is he
And
the main actor?
yes, he's the main actor from that. He was
Yes.
in The Hobbit. He was in Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. He's been in a lot of stuff.
He's around.
He's around. Jeremy, are you aware of
I
Lee
don't know.
Pace? Okay, all right. So I guess this one's to you, Justin. Is he British?
I want to say yes.
No, he is not. He is
Ah,
American. American.
New Jersey
Um,
again with that British accent.
I'm not sure where he's from. I did not write that down. Okay. This one could be an interesting debate. Let's go with another Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield.
No.
He was born in the U.S. to British parents, but moved back to England at age 3.
Does that make him British, Jeremy?
British parents.
Born in
He's British.
America.
Yeah, he's not British then.
He's
By
British,
my logic.
bitch.
He's American, bitch.
All right.
Oh,
Here's
that's the
all right.
line of the episode. He's British, bitch.
All right. Jeremy, I know you're a fan of James Bond, so let's go with this one. Eva Green. She was in Casino
She was
Royale.
never James Bond.
No, she was
And never
never
will
James
be.
Bond,
Mm-mm.
but she was in Casino Royale. She was in Penny Dreadful. She was in Sin City 2. I think she was in 300 too. Uh,
He's
is
the
is
top of my
she
spank bank list.
um she
Right up
is
there with the Death Star.
right up there with the Death Star. All right. Is Eva Green British?
I don't no.
I'll agree with Jeremy.
Okay, you're right. That one was a curveball. She's French.
Mm.
Oh,
Croissants.
All right, how about Tom Hardy? I think this one might be easy.
No.
yes, I'm British.
He is British. He is British. All right.
Hmm.
All right. All right, let's do. Do either of you know who Naomi Watts is?
Heard of her.
Okay.
Possibly.
Watsably?
Possibly.
Is she British?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Okay. Was born in England but moved to Australia. Most people thought she was Australian.
She's British,
British.
bitch.
Yeah, British. Okay. All right. Let's do Aaron Taylor Johnson. Not to be confused with Anna Taylor Joy. Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Who's that?
He was in Kick Ass. He was Kick Ass. He was in the Godzilla movies. He's going to be Craven in the new Craven movies. He was
Wow.
Quicksilver in one of the in the MCU, not the Fox version Quicksilver. Is he British?
Oh,
I'll also say no.
He is absolutely British.
that's crazy. That's
Absolutely.
really good accents there.
Yes. Yeah. Um, let's go with Gillian Anderson. Gillian Anderson. Most people seem to think one
She's,
way, but
Yes.
is that because you said most people think one way? So most people think she's American, but she's British?
um, this is going to be one of those debates. She was technically born in Chicago, but she moved to England when she was very, very young. I think in the less than a year phase, and kind of grew up there.
Born in the USA.
He's American.
Even if
Um,
we don't, count Illinois as part of America.
True.
Millie Bobby Brown, 11 from Stranger Things.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Stranger Things.
I've not.
That is shocking.
Serious?
Shocking.
Serious.
Never once. Wow, that's amazing.
Not an episode.
Okay, then you have no idea who she is. So
I know who she is. Like I've heard of her, but I've never seen Stranger Things.
I think she is.
she is British. All right. Have either of you've both seen We Are the Millers, right?
Hmm.
See,
Okay, you know the kid from We Are the Millers, the kind of
yes,
dopey kid, Will
Yeah.
Poulter.
yes,
He was also in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He's been
didn't
in a
see
lot
it.
of stuff. Is Will Poulter British?
He is British.
I'll say yes.
Yeah,
You sounded
absolutely. He
confident.
is British. All right.
I seen an
How?
interview he did, and I was like, "That all right?" I
Yeah, that was because
think he's on
especially so.
Graham Norton or something.
Yeah, I saw him and I was like, "Holy shit, that guy's British."
Hmm.
That is not the because he did
Nope.
such a good job in We Are the Millers.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a nerdy Midwesterner.
Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer. Is Jerry Springer British? I believe we've talked about this before. Let's see how good your memories are.
He is.
He's British.
All right. How about Slash? Slash from Guns N' Roses.
He is not British.
Say no.
He is 100% British.
Oh, I don't
Born and
You
raised
sounded so
in
confident.
know.
all
Where
right,
was he
this
born? Where was he born and raised?
somewhere in London.
Oh, see, could have been London, Wisconsin. You don't know.
All right, Natalie Portman. Is Natalie Portman British?
Yeah.
I've been
No.
striking out on a bunch of these.
No.
I
I'm
want to
gonna
say
say
no.
no.
Oh, she is Israeli. She is Israeli. But
Oh.
she basically spent most of her life growing up in this country. Melanie Linsky, the crazy neighbor from Two and a Half Men.
Ooh,
Rose?
Yes, Rose, the crazy neighbor
Okay.
from Two and a Half
I
Men. The
don't know
one.
who that is.
Okay, I'm
I want to
having
say no
you would be correct. She is from New Zealand.
because I was thinking of other things I've seen her and she never has a British accent.
All right, last couple here. Misha Barton from the OC.
Maybe.
Never seen it.
Maybe also on Jeremy's list. I don't know.
La.
British, born and raised in
Oh.
England. Moved to America when she was young, but like double digits age. So, how about Steve-O? Steve-O from Jackass.
He's got dual citizenship.
He's got
And
a
how
lot of citizenships.
does he also have
Wow,
like Canadian?
Yeah, he's got Canadian, he's got England.
I was shocked to know. I've never bothered to look into Steve-O's.
Oh, he was a military. I think I think he was born. Well, yeah, he was born in England.
He was born in England, and has moved around the world. Lived in Brazil, Canada,
Yeah.
America, bunch of places. All right, and
Look how much knowledge I know on that guy.
all right. Well, let's do the James Bond
Yeah,
section.
dude.
This is the
Hmm.
James Bond section. Are these following James Bond actors British? Sean Connery.
No.
No, he is Scottish. Roger Moore.
Yes.
Yes. Pierce Brosnan.
I don't remember.
No, he is Irish. Timothy Dalton.
Yes.
This is the debate that I don't have an answer to because Wales, I'm not sure if they think they're a separate country, but I'm not sure if technically they are.
Oh.
So yes, no. George Lazenby, the guy who got to do one movie.
Yeah.
No, Australian.
Oh, fuck.
And then Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So only two of the six men who have played James Bond are actually English.
Hmm.
Really?
All right. And then last, have either of you watched Yellowstone yet?
No.
Okay, then this one probably doesn't matter. Kelly Riley. Kelly Riley from Yellowstone.
Sounds Irish.
Nope.
She is British. She is
Ah,
Oh.
she is one of the ones that like when you watch Yellowstone, you're like when you hear her not talking her Montana
so
accent, you're like, holy fuck.
Mm,
All right. And then just because, do either of you know who Delroy Lindo is?
no.
Star Wars character?
No. If you saw
Like
you
Lando
saw
Calrissian?
if you saw Delroy Lindo, you would know who he is. I was shocked to learn that he is in fact British. He's one of he's one of those old school actors. He's been around for a long time. He's stuff for a long time. All right. So that ends our game of Are They British?
It seems like there was
It's
a
fun.
point to asking about are they British?
There was. Let's talk about British and American sitcoms.
Wow.
We'll get to a section here in a little bit, but all right. So the first American sitcom was Mary Kay and Johnny in
Hmm.
1947.
Good show. Good show.
The first British sitcom was
Shitcom?
well, I said sitcom, but it could be was Penright's Progress from
Oh,
1946. So technically, the Brits hit the TV sitcom before we did. All right. The longest running British sitcom was called Last of the Summer Wine. It ran from 1973 to 2010.
Jesus.
37 years, had 31 seasons. Had
Aren't there
two
seasons like shorter
well,
episodes?
yes, because we'll get that in a second. It was 295 episodes. The longest running American sitcom would be The Simpsons. 1989 to still going. We're going on 35 years, 36 seasons. They are at 774 episodes.
Kind of weird though with it being animated. I don't know how many of the British sitcoms are actually animated.
I don't either. I didn't get into that list too much. And because I thought you would bring that up, the longest running live action American sitcom is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh,
05 to still running, 19 years, 17 seasons, currently at 170 episodes.
that's
Did,
crazy.
did you see that interview that they did with Danny DeVito when they pranked him on April Fools?
No.
All right. They like the day before they were going to start filming, they sent him an entire script that they wrote that was fake, that had to deal with Frank getting arrested and being multiply taken advantage of in prison throughout the whole episode. Like people would just come in and out of his room or the shower or the cell or whatever. And then literally he says like the last episode, the last page said April Fools.
Awesome.
So they wrote an entire script that just involved him being passed around to prison as an April Fool's prank on him.
Well, there's a reason why it's considered a pretty dirty show. It's also amazing that that show's been on for as long as it has and has never really been honored with any awards of any kind.
It's got the pop culture roulette stamp of approval.
It
What do you
does.
need?
Not
It
sure if that's
does.
an award or
It's
not, or
better.
All
eh.
right. So I went through and I found a list of British shows that we've done American versions of, and I did not count anything that was like a couple episodes or a season or less. I counted around 25 or more of those that have never really made it past the pilot, or like some of them only made it like 3 or 4 episodes. So these are all shows that lasted at least a full season, maybe longer. There was a show called Thick of It that gave us Veep. Three's Company came from Man About the House, which Man About the House had spun off into George and Mildred. So they spun George and Mildred off into the Ropers. So because you
All
figured if
right,
you've already spun off one show from the British people, why not do it again?
do it again.
Sanford and Son
Pompana.
was actually brought to us by Steptoe and Son. The British
Oh,
All in the Family came from Till Death Do Us Part.
wow.
The Office, arguably one of the most successful of all the British ones, came from, surprisingly enough, The Office. There was a show called Getting On that I guess was on HBO or Cinemax or one of those for a couple of
But it
seasons.
was one of those shows.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like it seems like early on we had to change the name, and then as time went on, we've gotten to the point where we're just like, no, we're just going to keep the same name. Because Dear John stayed Dear John. Ghost, which I know Jeremy, not Jeremy, Justin and I are big fans of.
Yep.
Have you watched any of the new season yet?
No.
I have an admission to
Never
that.
what?
The most recent episode that just came out, it broke the streak.
Oh, you cried?
A British sitcom
Wow.
to American version. a silly little sitcom.
Wait,
It,
the American version made you
the
tear up?
American version made me tear up.
Did someone get sucked off?
Uh,
What?
um, kind of.
In the show,
Okay.
the one he was like it's the frat boy, right? That
Yes.
man that came up with it. He doesn't have a lot going on, but when the ghost would like reach whatever they had to do, where they would ascend to heaven, he told them that it was getting sucked off.
It's funny.
So all of the people refer to it as that, and they're like, "That me," and he's like, "Just let me have this."
They find a ghost animal.
Oh no,
Oh,
And
it's
it
a dead
was
dog.
no, it wasn't a dog, but there was a story about a dog, and it hit a little close to home, which kind of made me mad because I was like, a fucking silly little sitcom. I'm not supposed to be crying over a fucking sitcom.
That just means you're maturing.
Uh, uh, anyway, highly
I think I
recommend.
have another thing that's gonna make you cry. Your audio is not the greatest right now. It's it's I hope it's not an internet thing.
No, it does. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
It's like a fishbowl.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, when I listen back, it doesn't.
Well, okay. I don't think it's gonna sound that much better when you listen back, but let's go. Let's keep going.
Okay, all right.
I don't want to rain out your parade. You're
Yeah,
doing
we've had good energy.
Okay, well, hopefully that's not a problem. Can't kind of control my.
hopefully they could turn on subtitles for a podcast.
Uh,
Maybe if I sit close,
Oh,
if
that's
hey,
hey.
okay, is it? Do I need to sit closer to the mic, or is it fine?
you're good
Well,
now. It's good as
yeah,
you were
whatever
moving.
you did.
Okay, so I guess I just had to move the mic a little bit. Okay, all right,
Maybe you had a loose connection, a loose
maybe.
wire.
Maybe. Hopefully that wasn't too much of it. All right. There was a show called You Again that came from Home to Roost. Um, I wrote that one down because Elizabeth Bennet actually played the same role on both shows. Like,
Interesting.
like she had played the role over in England, and then when the Americans were like, "We like it," they just brought her over and had her play the exact same.
Come over here and do it again.
Yeah, come over here and do it again. Um, there was a show called Keeping It in the Family, which
Ugh.
nowadays has. But they renamed it for American audiences. Too Close for Comfort, probably a
Huh?
good choice there. Um, there have been 3 attempts at Faulty Towers. None of them have.
There's only one.
None of the attempts at Faulty Towers have made it past 10 episodes.
That's that weird
So,
British show you like.
yeah.
One of
Uh,
many weird British shows we like.
there have been 2 attempts at Absolutely Fabulous. Neither have made it out of the pilot.
Was that the one that was inside the mall
I think so. Yeah.
where they'd always take the elevator up?
That was one of the British shows that I could never get into, but I know it did gangbusters. And
For some reason, I'm picturing that, but I could be wrong.
I feel like, Justin, you've talked about this show as something you've been a fan of, Men Behaving Badly.
Yeah, I believe so. I'd have to think of which one that is.
I think that was. Anyway, there was a show called Mind Your Language that gave us a show called What a Country. Does anyone want to take a guess who that was starring?
No.
What?
It's an old person thing. It's Yakov Smirnoff. What a
Oh.
country!
Gotcha.
There was a show called Miranda that gave us Call Me Cat. That's a show that Mayim Bialik was on for a couple seasons.
That looked
Yes.
awful.
Yeah, that didn't look good.
Yeah, it lasted for a couple years, but it never bothered to watch it. There was a show called One Foot in the Grave that gave us the Cosby Show, but not the Cosby Show, a different show called Cosby
Oh,
All right.
that he tried to do after the Cosby Show, and they just called it Cosby.
good old.
A show that I know that Justin, you've talked about, Spitting Image, gave us DC Follies.
What?
I'm trying
There
to
was-
think what these shows are.
DC Follies.
Yeah,
Sound made up.
Some of these were ones that barely made it past a full season. Did either of you watch a show called Welcome to Flatch? It was
Mm-mm.
on for a couple years on Fox. It was kind of funny.
Oh,
I enjoyed it. It was a bizarre little show. It came from this country, and then there was a show that the English called Two's Company that we called just the two of us. It must not have done very well because I don't remember it very well. So I'm sure now you're asking yourself, what about the other way?
I was wondering that
Yeah.
before you started this list.
Have the British ever taken one of our shows and tried it over there? It's a
Tell us no.
much shorter list. Um, Golden Girls became the Brighton Bells,
Oh, nice.
All
lasted
right.
for 2 seasons, but somehow those 2 seasons were only 11 episodes. Good Times became the Fosters. Grounded for Life, which I really liked.
Great show.
That was a great show. It was called In with the Flins. It lasted 2 years as well. Um, Mad About You became Loved by You, 2 years. Married with Children did not translate very well to England. They called it Married for Life. It only made 7 episodes. Ran for like 13 years over here, but over there, 7 episodes.
Hmm.
A show called Maud. Uh,
Maud.
It had one of the original Golden Girls. Was Nobody's Perfect, lasted for 2 years. That '70s show became Days Like These. It lasted for a whole 10 episodes. And then the only one that I found that had any real success was Who's the Boss?
Who is the boss?
Ran for 8 years here. It ran for 7 years there, and they called it The Upper Hand.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was like, wait, of all the American shows that we've had, some really good American shows, Who's the Boss is the only one they've really managed to take and make work.
Hmm.
But there's been a long history, and I left it to sitcoms because there's so many drama shows and game shows and other such stuff that it was just like, man, this list would get forever, and it would be even more boring than it probably already is. So,
No, it made me think of some of the other shows that we didn't steal, but the one I was thinking of when they were in the mall, the shopping store was Are You Being Served?
oh right, yes,
It
okay.
ran for 10 seasons.
What's that about?
It takes place in like a department store, but
Yeah.
like back when a department
Comedy
store.
series which follows employees of London Grace Brothers department store, full of sexual innuendo, slapstick visual gags, and double entendres.
Awesome.
But
Yeah.
that was also set in the days back when like a department store, you would go to Sears and it had everything. Like it had like an electronics department, a TV department, not just clothing. Like it had like a toy section, like
From 72 to 85.
yeah. But I mean, it's kind of amazing that like most British shows tend to only run like 5, 6 episodes, 10 episodes a season, and they only run for like 2 or 3 years. And then you get to something called Last of the Summer Wine that ran for like 37 years, or the one that you just Are You Being Served lasted for. It's so bizarre.
That was 10 years. Each season's 6 episodes. 6 episodes, 5 episodes. Ooh, 9 episodes. One's called Christmas Crackers.
Well,
I do really like Faulty Towers.
That was one of my favorites.
As much as I'd like to see an American version, at the same time like just leave it alone. Without John Cleese, I don't know how well it works. Jeremy,
I
have you watched very many British shows?
not really. I dabble, but not really.
dabble in the Brit stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. I enjoy it.
I liked Some Others Do Avum. Remember that one? That one I thought was a really good one. That was in 73. And then it's not really a sitcom one, but was it Red Dwarf?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I've watched a few episodes of
I
that
like
before.
that one. That ran for a long time too.
Yeah,
Is
and they keep rebooting it.
They do.
is Black Books British or is that like Scottish?
I don't know how much of a difference there really
I
is.
said
I
that
mean,
is
I
that the one with
watched
Mr.
that. I
Is
like
that the
that
one with
show.
Mr. Bean?
Black Books as the dude from a lot of the Shaun of the Dead or the Simon Pegg movies. Uh, Dylan Moran. That's his name.
Are you talking about Nick Frost?
No, Dylan Moran. Like he's in a lot of like
Oh,
he's in
okay.
Shaun of the Dead and
Oh,
like
okay.
a lot of other Simon Pegg shit. I
Black
don't know.
Books is considered a British sitcom.
Okay, I like that.
Ran for 3 years.
Funny.
Red Dwarf is considered a British sitcom and it ran for 12 seasons.
there was a sitcom that I think it only lasted for two, maybe three seasons in England. It was one of the first things that Simon Pegg and Nick Frost did called Spaced.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really good. Like I'm
Mhm.
honestly shocked that nobody ever tried to do it over here, or maybe it was one of the ones that was in the list of didn't make it out of the pilot that I didn't bother for.
I
Because I know
remember that
like
one.
the In-Betweeners, I know that's a show they watched.
Oh yeah, In-Betweeners. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
know they tried the In-Betweeners a
Yeah.
couple times over here and didn't
It's
work at all.
horrible.
That was a really good one. It's not a sitcom, but I really like it. There was a show called The Misfits, where a bunch of British teens who are in like a work release program, because they, like they have to do like community service for some low-level crime they committed, get struck by lightning and are given superpowers.
Hmm.
Um, and then, of course, antics ensue. It's not
As they do.
this. It's not necessarily funny, but it's interesting. I liked it a lot. It's very good.
Keeping Up Appearances. Used to watch that with my aunt.
Yeah, yeah. My
That's a
mom
funny
used to
show.
watch that one a lot. What was the? I can never remember the name of it, but there was a sitcom that I really liked. I've watched a lot of, where the father was a dentist, which
Sounds
is
familiar.
which is kind of funny given the British stereotype. But
Yeah.
yeah, there was one that I really liked, and it didn't make it as long in England as I would have thought. It was called Spy, where like this dad like goes in to do a job interview because he wants to get a better job to like take care of his kid because he's become a single dad, and I don't remember why, and accidentally becomes like one of the top level spies in the MI6 because like he thought he was going in for a job at like an electronics company and somehow aced an accidental spy exam.
That's awesome. It's a clever
Huh.
premise.
Yeah. I can't get anything to load, so I can't find the British dentist sitcom.
Mm,
My Family?
Yes, that's it. But I'm sure that that list will grow over time and continue to
It's
go.
the little thing for My Family says a dentist discovers that dealing with his clan is like pulling teeth.
Yeah,
God, dealing with my family is like pulling teeth.
I get it. I understand. There are definitely days that it feels like that. Other days it
Uh,
doesn't. I would say more days than not it doesn't feel like it. But
what about Heil Honey, I'm Home? That's a good
that's
one.
that's one of the British shows that I'm kind of shocked was ever made in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of those like when you go back through the history of TV, like bad ideas. Like, hey, it'd be super fun. Let's make a sitcom about Hitler.
Yeah.
I
no
mean,
one's ever done it. It's original.
it was bad enough they made a sitcom that lasted for like, several years about a POW camp and called it Hogan's Heroes. But like,
Yeah.
could you imagine in today's climate going into a TV studio and going, all right, I got an idea.
Hear me out.
Hear me out.
It's okay. He's the butt of all the jokes.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I mean, the Nazis have kidnapped a bunch of American soldiers and they have them in a POW camp. We won't
Yeah.
directly call them Nazis, but everybody's going to know. All right. Anybody watch anything this week?
Let me grab my handy dandy notebook. Whoop. 'Cause I wrote two things down so I would remember.
Wow.
Yeah, I watched Dear Santa.
Oh, is that any good?
It's pretty good. It's not amazing. I don't know if it'd be added to my every year list,
Okay,
but it's worth a watch. Jack Black at his usual antics.
right,
I mean, you I think we discussed it, so you know what the premise is.
right.
The kid writes a list to Santa, but he's learning impaired, so he writes his letter to Satan, which I mean happens to the best of us.
Does it though?
Words are hard. Okay, maybe just me then.
Movie hit a little home for you. A little
Yeah,
close.
you don't make fun of people who can't spell well. That's what I learned.
I make fun of you all the time, though.
Yeah, and that Satan gives you three wishes like a genie. Didn't know
Oh,
I did not know that.
didn't know that. Yeah, that was pretty good. And then I watched Samaritan.
What's that one?
Sylvester Stallone
Oh
is a
yeah,
superhero.
yes, I wanted to watch that. I've been aware of that for a year or two now. I
Yeah, it
just
came out in 22. It's pretty good. Some spots are kind of slower. I think it's an hour and a half, maybe a little longer. And it's one of those that after a while, it's like it keeps you interested based on the story and the action and stuff. But there's some spots where you're like, okay, you can shave off 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there.
see that's not good for an hour and a half movie when you're like you could shave off 15 minutes.
Let me see exactly how long Samaritan was because I think it was long. Do. Hour 41.
Oh, okay, all right,
okay.
So
yeah,
you could shave it down to about hour and a half, hour 20.
all right, yeah, all right. Okay, that's not a yeah. If you're a 90-minute movie and you're like, you can cut another 10, 15 minutes. Like at that point, you're barely an hour long episode. Like
Yeah, it's 141, and that's on Prime or Freevee.
Nice.
Freebie is going away. Freebie is going to be rolled into just Prime, which it was already pretty much on Prime anyway.
All right.
So it's not going to be free anymore.
It will be all of the stuff on Amazon that is free already,
Oh, I see. I see. Okay. I
but
gotcha.
it's basically yeah, Freebie apparently didn't have it to make it, and Prime. Most people were just going to Prime to watch everything on Freebie anyway. So
And then Dear Santa is an hour 43, and that one's on Paramount Plus. Yeah, those are the
Okay.
two things I watched.
Jeremy, you got anything?
Ooh,
Did you watch anything this week?
geez, hard to believe it's already been a week since the last time we watched stuff.
The
Uh,
Detroit game?
well, that's true. I watched that. Not hardly because I was at work, so I shouldn't even say I watched it. Um, I've been watching Detroiters still. It's a really funny show. If you haven't, definitely check it out. It's on Netflix. Um, been watching the continuing adventures of Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Might as well be a movie. I mean, a lot of story.
Yeah, I've heard that game is very cinematic.
It's on Steam right now for $20. And if you haven't had a chance to ever play it, it's like it's I don't use this word loosely when I say masterpiece.
Okay.
It's like one of the best open world games ever created. Like it came out in 2018, and there's so many games that have been open world since then, but very few of them are even close to like touch as
Oh,
far as like the immersion, the everything, like the characters, the experience, the collectibles, the things to do. Like there's just it's insane.
so you're telling me that based on the kind of games that I like to play, it's probably one that I would like.
I would say so. Yeah.
All right.
The
That,
beginning sucks though. I will say that. Like the first hour is really slow. It's like you're in the winter and it's like a tutorial and it takes a long time to get through. But when
Is
you get to the open world part, it's amazing.
is it a survival game where you have to care about like food and
No,
nonsense like that? Okay, because that
you
like
there is food, but it doesn't like really like you don't have to like keep up with it
okay.
to survive. Yeah.
that was the first game I played on my when I got the PS5 was Red Dead 2. But I didn't get that far. Like the first hour
Yeah, it's
when
rough.
you're just trudging through the snow and everything, and I was just like, I'm gonna play something else.
But if you can make it through that, it opens up and it's like there's no other experience like it.
Good to know. Good to know. Maybe one of these days I'll give that a shot. Um, I watched. Oh, what before I move on to what I've done? Uh,
Anything of this decade you watch?
yes, actually.
All right,
Jeremy, did anything else you got, or is that
I think that's it probably.
okay?
we'll
I
come back
watched
to you at the end.
I watched something brand new, something that came out this week. HBO Max put out Creature Commandos.
Hmm.
It's a DC show.
Oh yeah,
It's a basically it's kind of continuing off of the second Suicide Squad movie, which is, I mean, I guess sort of continuing off of the first Suicide Squad movie,
this one's animated.
but this one's completely animated. And the members of the squad are the bride, so the Bride of Frankenstein, like a gill man, but she's Weasel's in it. Doctor Phosphorus, Rick Flag, who died in the Suicide Squad movie. They brought his
Mhm.
father in, so it's Rick Flag Senior. Looks an awful lot like Rick Flag,
Hmm.
but voiced by Frank Grillo. James Gunn wrote it. Other
Cool.
people are directing it. Alan Tudyk is playing uh, Doctor Phosphorus. They say he's going to play Clayface as well, but 2 episodes in, Clayface hasn't been in it just yet. Um,
Oh, it's not a movie. It's
it's a series.
okay.
Yeah,
Is it
it's
all at once? Is it all?
they only put 2 episodes up so
Oh,
far.
sorry if you
So
said that.
no, I don't know if I clarified. I've only watched the 2 episodes they've got out so far. Um, it's not necessarily as funny as the Harley Quinn stuff, but the Harley Quinn stuff is Elseworld, so like it's not part of the. It's so basically starting over in the second Suicide Squad movie, the first one that James Gunn directed. That's the beginning of the new DC universe. This movie is taking place in that, not movie. This show is taking place in that universe. So the Superman movie that's coming out in a few months could potentially have things that involve this show. So that, like, James Gunn is like, hey, we're gonna get weird. We're gonna have some of the stranger characters. Uh,
Cool.
Which that's good.
yes. So yeah, Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein are characters in this show.
So,
Um, they did something that I had never seen, not even in the Harley Quinn show. They had nudity in a DC animated show.
wow.
There's none in Harley Quinn.
No, they edit it or blur it out,
Oh,
or it's all implied. Like,
interesting.
I would say that Harley Quinn is way dirtier.
Yeah. How long are the episodes of this?
22, 25 minutes, 30
Okay,
minutes.
so not that bad.
No, it's normal standard. Standard as you know.
I will get those watched before the next episode.
Yeah,
I
and
will
though I
watch.
mean, by the next episode they'll have the third. I don't know if they're doing two a week or if it was two for the first week and then one from here on
Two
out. But
two for the price of one.
yeah, and then I caught up with Solar Opposites,
I never
which
watched that.
I didn't get
it's
into that one.
it's super weird. And so Justin Roiland, the guy who created that and Rick and Morty, obviously he got in some trouble. He did some things that were not on the good side, so he got kicked out. I don't know if he got kicked out of Rick and Morty. I'm gonna leave.
I think so.
I
Okay,
believe so. Because yeah, didn't one of the voices change because he's no longer
but
there?
he did the voice of the leader on Solar Opposites in the first season. By the time the second season run around, he had gotten in trouble, and they, instead of just hiring a guy who sounds like him, they completely changed the voice and then made it a plot point of like why they just completely changed the voice of the leader.
That's
Hmm.
funny.
It was actually really funny. Um, it's a very bizarre show. It's gotten super weird, and it only gets weirder. But like the subplot story is like fascinating. So the aliens have come to Earth, and they're doing just stupid alien stuff. But whenever they get mad at somebody, they shrink them and put them in this like hamster wall. And like there's like this whole like other story running on about like this whole like society that's taken place in this wall of like shrunken people who like are now like it's I almost want them to do like a whole season of just that story, but it's
Interesting.
it's bizarre. I'm not gonna lie. There are definitely episodes where there's also like a whole third story about when they sent one of their neighbors they were mad at into space, and like he's now like become a giant bear in space
Mhm.
trying to become a silver cop. Like
Interesting.
it's weird. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I've been watching.
Did he have anything to do with High on Life?
I don't know.
That game?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
let's just
That's a
say
great game.
because that has some Rick and Morty esque qualities.
Well,
Yeah.
and the first season of Solar Opposites, Corvo, the leader, sounds just like Rick. It just he Justin Roiland did not have a great range as a voice actor.
No. Yeah, that game that was actually like his game studio, I think, that did that. Like I think he actually had a studio before all that shit happened.
Oh, did you play the sequel or not the sequel, I don't know what you'd call it.
Like DLC?
Yeah, High on Knife.
No, I never did.
All right. I didn't
But
play that game yet, but it looks like a lot of fun.
the base game, yeah, it's I enjoyed it quite a bit. Yeah. Justin Roiland was the voice of like I think at least one of the guns, if not a few of them in the games. The same typical like voice.
Oh,
Yeah, I
you're
mean,
like, I know who that is.
Yeah.
have either of you watched Crepopolis?
No.
No.
Dan Harmon, the guy who created Community, created the show called Crepopolis, which is like supposed to be like the first city, like the people like just becoming a civilization, and this guy decides to declare himself king and create a city. But his parent, like his mom, is a goddess, and his dad is a griffin.
All right.
A griffin.
It's a very bizarre. I watch weird shit. I'm not gonna lie. My favorite show right now is What We Do in the Shadows. Yeah.
I can't get into that show.
Oh, I'm surprised given what else you got to give it another shot. I think maybe you were just in a
And
bad
it,
spot that
and it,
in a bad
Mhm.
spot the day you gave it a shot because based on the other British stuff that you watch now, granted, it's not British, it's Australian, so maybe that's the difference. I don't know. Like you were
I
like
like Flights of the Concord, even though that's New Zealand.
the same guys who did Flight of the Concord did the original What We Do in the Shadows.
Hmm.
Like because it was a movie, it was an Australian movie before they turned it into an American sitcom,
All right.
which
Maybe,
could give us a
maybe.
whole nother list, but that list would be very short.
Hmm.
Australian to American TV shows.
Yeah.
That would be like a 10-minute episode. It'd be What We Do in the Shadows and like one other show. Oh,
Shows we stole from other countries.
yeah. Well, I mean, we got a whole lot of other countries we can do. I mean, basically, that Fred bracket that we're threatening to do, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. When we start doing shows we stole from Denmark.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody got anything that we want to talk about, promote, push? We're looking forward
Uh,
to.
I
Guess
don't
not.
think so yet. Let me see when we're recording. No, we're not recording next week, right?
No, we are not recording next week because of the Packer
Football.
game.
I did see a thing that The Simpsons aired on December 17th, 1989. So that's coming up.
That was coming up.
And
You
it
know
was a
what?
Christmas episode.
It makes me want to watch Monday Night Football because
Yes, the Simpsons one.
they're
Let's
doing this, which makes me mad because I don't want to watch a Cowboys game, but
Cowboys Bengals
Cowboys Bengals they're doing it like they did with the Toy Story last year.
and
They're
in Andy's
doing
toy box.
they're doing a Simpsons version.
That was
And,
Jaguars Falcons.
yeah, so I'm very curious to see how that works out.
Yeah. I
They're
will not be
supposed
watching it at work.
they're supposed to be doing like I think a Madden version too at some point this year.
Oh, so it's gonna be broken as fuck and everyone's gonna clip through each other.
It might.
I want to see how they're going to do that where they put two players in each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
And where
yeah.
like some of the DBs just go like this after the play, like stand around doing nothing.
I mean, did you watch our secondary?
Oh
Bo,
yeah, that's
Bo Jackson just all of a sudden breaks every tackle and runs for 90 yards.
Yeah, I don't remember which game it is, but they're supposed to be doing like a Madden simcast live during the game.
pathetic. That's all
All
I have to
right.
say to that. But The Simpsons is intriguing. That intrigues me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Disney Plus tomorrow.
Yeah, Monday night.
I,
So,
I think
I mean,
it's
we say tomorrow, but by the time I release this episode, it will have already aired.
yeah, that's true.
Unless
I don't know how we go about trying to edit these.
Well, in that case, that was fun to see. That was cool. I like
Well,
how they.
unless I get a wild, I am taking tomorrow off, so I can stay up late tonight. Maybe I'll get a wild hair on my ass and edit this thing tonight. Release. So, all right. I guess if man, I kind of just want to make fun of him for a second week in a row and be like, if you don't know how to call a timeout when your game is on the line so badly that you get fired, just remember, stupid never walks alone.
Oh, Eberflus.
Comic books have been around for almost a century, and in the last 2 decades, we've finally gotten to see many of these characters brought to life in movies and on TV. On the Moving Panels podcast, we discuss movies and TV shows based on, inspired by, and adapted from the world of comic books. Join me and my guests as we discuss both the good and the bad from Marvel, DC, and even some of the lesser-known comic book companies. Learn what is and isn't from the comics, as well as our nerdy review of the movie or show. New episodes drop every Monday, and you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. So join us for Moving Panels, and I'll see you on the other side of the page.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and listen to the 80s Flick Flashback podcast once in a while, you could miss it. Do you love movies of a certain age? Do you miss the days of VHS tapes, VCRs, and the video rental stores? Does the thought of another 80s movie being remade seem inconceivable? My name is Tim Williams. I'm the creator and host of the 80s Flick Flashback podcast. On each episode, I'm joined by guest co-hosts to discuss one of the many movies released in the 1980s. We share our first-time watch memories, our favorite scenes, and even learn some behind-the-scenes stories about the cast and crew along the way. New episodes are released every other Friday on your favorite podcasting platform. So make like a tree, get out of here, and go listen to an excellent episode of the 80s Flick Flashback podcast. The ad is over. Go home. Go.